I put it on a different Jabra. You had it for speaker, not
How's it going,
microphone.
Jason?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. You getting ready for Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion?
No, we are.
No?
And we're going to be working Saturday, or at least I will be.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there Friday night and then Saturday.
Yeah, we went probably we haven't gone the last 2 years. We've just been covered up and haven't had. And they went on those vendor fees, so I'm staying here at the.
Yep.
I can relate.
So I sent you some questions earlier. There's one question that I didn't put on there that I was wondering, how did you come up with the name for Rock Your 4x4?
Well, originally when we met, it was a friend of mine that talked me into working for making it a business instead of a hobby, because I was just doing stuff for folks for fun. And he was like, hey, let's create a business and we'll make a website and we'll just sit back and sell parts and sell parts and sell parts. You know how that works. So
and no wrenching, just sell parts. That was the original plan.
I think so, maybe doing some stuff, but not to the level that we are today. But we sat down one night, and he and his wife and my wife and I sat down, and we were like, well, let's come up with a name. And he was like, well, I was already going to do this anyway, even if you weren't going to do it with me. So he said, I came up with this name. He said, everybody wants to be rocked. He said, so I'm going to rock their 4x4. I was like, okay, that's fine with me. That works. We rent till the midnight hours for several years, and then he sold out his half to my wife. So my wife and I now operate.
Okay.
And she does a lot of those paperworks behind the scenes, but I'm the one here.
For that.
Boys.
So now that we got some people on here, so for anyone that doesn't know, this is Jason Cooper from Rock Your 4x4. They are out of Knoxville, Tennessee. They are one of our dealers. And this is kind of going to be our kind of Why I Wheel series, per se, on the lives. So we're going to try to do something with different vendors and people once a month. So Jason gets to be the guinea pig because we know he's just a good person to talk to and everything. So we have some questions for him. We kind of went over one of them already, but why don't you tell a little bit about yourself? I mean, you already said how the name came up and the business and everything, but is there anything else you'd want to share?
Well, I mean, it grew from a passion of just being off-road. So, I mean, when I was 15, my brother and I don't know if you remember this. How old are you, Tanner? You're probably not very old.
I'm 26.
Okay, yes, I've got about 20 years on you. So, back in the day before the internet, they had a thing called bargain mart classifieds.
The internet.
Yeah, before the internet. We were wheeling while you were
DTI
twinkling your mother's eye.
Yep.
So, but yeah, we my brother and I bought a Jeep CJ5 out of the bargain mart classifieds for $800, and we told my parents later that we bought it and that they were taking us to go pick it up. So,
I asked for forgiveness later is how that one worked.
I guess so. Yeah. But yeah, just a passion for four wheeling, and then now we get to do it for fun. And a lot of people say when you're doing it for a living, you're not going to want to do it anymore. But man, we're out there every other weekend. So, and we've got the channel that shows that we're out there every other weekend.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And what's your YouTube channel again?
It's just at Rock Your 4x4, all one word. Yeah.
Okay.
ROCKYOUR 4x4.
So, and you got videos in Moab. You're close to Windrock, so that's where a lot of your videos are. We were just at Windrock. I was just at Windrock a couple months ago, and this place is just a blast.
Oh yeah.
How long have you been in business, Jason?
Since 2004.
2004.
So about the same.
About the same as us.
Yeah, but as a brick and mortar shop since probably I think it was maybe it was fall of 2014. So for 10 years I did it out of my house just as a little side business, and I worked full time. I worked at a Chevrolet dealer for 12 years, and then I worked for a local municipality for 8 years. But I was working this after I got home and doing it on the weekends and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Bob did that a lot too.
That's how any business starts, essentially.
Yeah. When he was military, he would come home at night and work on Jeeps in our garage. And so when he got out of the military, then he started this craziness of being self-employed, and you can do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. Yeah.
So what's your favorite place to wheel then?
I mean, my favorite place, I guess, is Moab.
Yeah.
So far, just
So,
because there's no mud. So
yeah.
We have mud and trees, and most of the damage to my personal vehicle is due to mud and trees. So yeah, I would say Moab because of the weather, and everybody can have their top off, not worry about it really raining, and it's always pretty there. It seems like every time we are.
Always.
So I got a question on your last video when you guys were in Moab, and I think that was earlier in this year, so March or February.
Okay. Our last Moab was July of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I must have been looking at the day. So the gentleman that rolled over in what looked to be a flat spot, what happened?
Okay. I'm gonna send him this link to this video because it's gonna be crazy talking about him. But that's our buddy. We call him Party Time Dave. And
okay.
He's pretty rowdy. Like he points it and he slams the throttle and goes. But his wife was with him and he didn't know. I mean, we were just tootling along, and I don't know if you know that the first climb on Pritchett Canyon. You go in down that little well, and you come back up the other side. And he didn't see that it was off camber, and I was right behind him, and I didn't have my dash cam on. I wish I'd had it like anything, but he just dropped his right front tire over there and just plopped on its side.
That's all he do.
Yeah, and it was so simple. And what's funny is. I'm sure you guys know the Rockstar Garage folks. The guy with the big Jeep, Nick, did the same thing in the same spot just a few months ago. Yeah, and it's like you're just not paying attention. I mean, that can happen anytime. So
yeah. I remember back in the day we did that with our scrambler. Everybody else drove through, and we had this great big huge scrambler, and we just slipped down in a rut that. I'm like, how do we even roll here? There's no reason to roll. But same thing. Put that front tire down in a rut, and there you go. I'll watch that.
So, yeah, I was just watching. I'm like, and I've never been to Moab. So when they would go, I always stayed back and worked. So at some point, I'm just going to leave and go to Moab one day. And Mary's going to be like, where's Tanner? And so.
Yeah. I didn't realize he's never been to Moab. I
always went to South Dakota and all that, but I just never made it out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you haven't been, it's definitely the top place to go if you're a Jeeper. So you need to let Mary just pay you a paid vacation, and you can call it advertising,
Yeah.
That's the best part about this, right? You get to write off all your fun and toys and everything, and it's a business expense. It's truly legit.
That's what I keep being told, but
yeah. It's a write-off, and you're thinking, I'm still spending money. It's still not in my bank account.
Oh, yeah.
It's a write-off. So show us your shop a little bit. Let's see what you got going on.
Let me do a flip here, see if I can do this. Okay, here we go.
Okay, yes. There we go.
Let me, this is one of our back bay doors here. Let me walk out here and, there's a TJ with, guess what we got under here?
Nice.
I'm going to call that staged. I mean, that's just me, but that looks a little staged.
Oh, it's nice.
It's only staged because it's here for an LS swap because his motor's locked.
Awesome.
But yeah, here's my personal Jeep, but here's our attention getter is this wall back here is nothing but rip. Yeah, this is all our junk pile, but here's our back door. So we've got basically 4 bays. We've got us an old school Blazer here.
Yeah, old Blazer. Oh, nice.
Full build. And then we've got us a little XD60 going for this JK, but it's also getting an LS swap and a Tremec 4050 and a suspension and all kinds of other.
Have you guys installed one of the Tremec 4050s before?
No, this is our first one.
Yeah. Okay.
And
yeah,
our kind of our staging area. So we've got these are all 6 liters that are going in Jeeps, and the one that's getting the Tremec back there is this brand new one right here from Bruiser. So, but we've got one on the engine stand back here. This one here is getting a cam and some other stuff swapped in. This one's just a stock 6.0. That one's a stock 6.0, and that one's a stock 6.0. And then of course we've got this. There's an old. That's a 2021 Gladiator Pentastar with a transmission. So this one right here, we just swapped in a 6.4 Hemi. The guy.
That's pretty.
Yeah, the guys are putting on some skid plates on it right now, but it's in the build, and you can see, you know, we've got a nice looking wheel and tire back here, and not so nice. That's going to be our test track tires, you know. Yep. But then over here we've got a little YJ here that was swapped in a 4.0 out of a late model TJ. But kind of give you that's basically our shop, is that whole area right there. And
is your shop, you only work on 4x4 vehicles and trucks kind of stuff? That's what you do? Yes, we don't do anything else. We just do mostly modifications, and we've kind of stepped away from the repair side of it. Okay. Doing more of the upgrades and stuff like that. But what's kind of cool is I'm going to eventually do something here, but we've got a nice little deck up here. Let me climb up here, and we've got a bunch of parts staged here, but it's pretty cool because you can come up here and get a nice panorama of the shop. And yeah, there's no TNT poster, so somebody needs to send
I may just have to stop by. That might be an option. We got one. We get you one. Definitely. That's easy. Yeah, that'd be good. I know you've installed a few of our things. We've shipped you some long arm kits. We've shipped you corners. How about 2-door corners on the guy that he is actually in Moab, or leaving Moab this, and when he comes back, we're gonna do his stretch. So cool. He's actually out with a bunch of friends in Moab right now, I think, or maybe they're going to be leaving this weekend, I believe, maybe. And are your customers come from all over? They do. Like the Blazer, he's from Alabama. The Gladiator, we did the 6.4 on. He's from about an hour and a half away in Crossville, Tennessee. The YJ's local here, the engine swap on it. This one behind me here that's getting the full build, he's from Chattanooga, which is about an hour and a half away. But a lot of them are from out of state. And most of those out of state ones are big projects that, you know, they're booking 80 to 100 hours of labor or more. So we have them for quite some time. Yeah. So Robert commented, he said burnout. So Robert's a customer of Williams from Carnage Motorsports, and I think he has a Hellcat Gladiator, if I remember correctly. Nice. So I think it was one of the first ones, or a Hellelephant, and we know we've seen Robert do some burnouts.
Well, that Gladiator, if it'll do it, it's going to do it before it leaves here, and that's why we swapped those. And I even told the guy, because he's a retiree from Texas, and they moved up here to Tennessee and bought a big farm in Middle Tennessee. And I told him, I said, we're putting these tires on here because there's not going to be any rubber left, so you'll get your good ones when it's leaving.
Did you get any?
I can be here, so I'm gonna.
Yeah. Did you get any flooding this last week? I saw middle of Tennessee got flooding, and I didn't know if you got any aftermath from that.
It's extremely dry here and very humid. Yeah, if you're going to be down here, it's 95 and like humidity out the roof, so you can walk out at 7 a.m. and get sweaty.
Well, I'll be down there. I might have personal air conditioning and figure that out, because
strap on an AC unit blowing on you.
Yep. What's your favorite trail at Windrock, since you wheel it?
Probably my favorite one is one that we actually helped build, and that was Walden's Ridge. So there's a few guys that operate heavy machinery up there that are subcontractors, and they're also they're off-road guys. So they call us, and whenever they want some manpower that's not machinery, you know, with chainsaws and, you know, that sort of stuff, they give us a call and we go and help. But yeah, it's probably been, I want to say maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago that we built that trail with those guys. They had the vision, so they walk the trail and they map it. They talk to the land manager, and then they get permission to go back. And it's actually, you know, Windrock is the people that are contracting them to build that trail. So, you know, we get to kind of pick and choose, and not a lot of people know about it, but I don't know if you've been on Walden's Ridge, Tanner. But,
so I did run it last time. It was funny because I'm much narrower than the people that I ran it with. So I was with William and Ara and Dave, which you probably don't. You know William. But then I was with a kid, because he's younger than me, named Moose, and you probably met Moose, I assume.
Yeah, it's Sean Halstead. Yeah.
Yep. And so I was with him, and he is so wide. He's like on every part of the obstacle he's hanging over, and I could just sneak through because I'm only about JK width on my TJ. And so it was crazy. And then Vicky, which is William's sister-in-law, she did not want to do it in her Jeep. She's like, she goes, I know what my Jeep will do, and I don't need to roll it down a hill, so we're going to go this way.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't know about this, but on that spine, you know, where you're kind of on the very top of that white sandy spot on the rock, and, you know, there's no side, that was about 18 inches taller. And just a little knob in the very middle. And we were good with it, but Windrock says, no, it's just too dangerous. We don't want you to do that. So we talked them into, we rented a jackhammer. And we chiseled off 18 inches, me and three other guys. And we just took turns with a generator and a jackhammer. And we took turns chiseling off about 18 inches of that rock to where it was safer.
Yeah. I mean, a wide vehicle, it really tips you sideways because you got to get up on top of that a little bit. At least that's how we did it. It's so fun, and the views you have. And so on the third, I think it's the third section, just before the big drop down where it's kind of steep.
Yeah.
Did a four-wheeler go down that a couple years ago? That's the story we heard.
If they did, I haven't heard about it, but I they would or could very easily.
Yeah. So, that was a fun trail. 15's always fun, just because it's so short and right out of the park.
Yeah, 15's the go-to for anybody out of town. You go up the paved road, take a left, and you're on the trail for 100 yards, and you're done.
Yep. And you drive. The first time I drove into it, and that rut is so deep that I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And so because it's opposite of what you think. Like, you don't drive into the wall, but on that one you drive into the wall, so you don't lay it sideways.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when it's dry, you can straddle that rut. But most of the time it's not dry around here. If it's wet at all, you just have to put your left tire in that rut and just ride it out. And you're just kind of on the balancing act of tires just barely touching the ground, and it's not wall, but you know, somebody that doesn't have a tire that sticks out, they end up breaking their windshield frame and their top and their mirror and everything. So
Yeah, I rub my mirror. I fold my mirror in, but I typically rub it on the wall.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Jason, and maybe some of the other people that are on here. In all your builds that you're doing, is there something that you wish, I wish somebody would make this? Is there anything that you've run across that you think somebody should make?
You know, I'm amazed every day something new comes out, and I'm like, wow, that is incredible, and I can't wait to those. You know, there's nothing that comes to my mind right away.
Okay.
But I can't fathom the technology that some of these guys have access to, where they're integrating certain things. And you know, the swap that we've done the most of is an LS swap into a JK, and just getting communication systems to work. You know, we deal with John down there at RPM Extreme, and we deal with Jeff at Bruiser, and both of those guys are very knowledgeable and have a really nice kit, and they work so.
Those are the two you like the best then?
Yeah. We've not done any others. I know there's 2 or 3 other companies out there, but we have such a good relationship with those guys that we just keep going that way.
Good. Yep. Good to know.
And the whole cage thing, a friend of mine was up here yesterday. He's got a shop down in Chattanooga, and he's building cages now for jails. And man, he's got them dialed in. He's, you know, he got it mocked up and he got the first cage built. Yeah. And you know, after he got that first cage built, he paid somebody to come over there and scan it. And you know, just being able to scan a vehicle and then go into a computer program and
make it.
To make it. Yeah, that's incredible. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So he's going to have a kit he's going to try to put out so everybody can buy it, put them in?
He's already done about 3 or 4, and he'll be up there at Invasion this weekend with it. And he's got his done that his wife is driving. And I mean, he drove it up here an hour and a half yesterday to the local UPS terminals across the street from us. So they were late shipping something, so he came up here and got it himself from the terminal and swung and showing me everything. But it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good. That's good.
That's a nationwide thing of people. We've had our customers. There's a gentleman out of Georgia that he drove 2 hours to the terminal where his freight was sitting because they couldn't get it to him. They had no drivers.
Yeah.
So, so I put on here, which we kind of already talked about. Do you like the hammer down wheeling, or do you just like the crawling?
Man, I like a little bit of both of it. And if you live in the East Coast, it's hammer down wheeling, a lot of it. And you know,
I have to learn how to do that.
Yeah. When you go out west, the traction is so abundant that you're like, holy.
Walk right up that.
Yeah. I cannot believe I just drove up that without holding it to the mat, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of everything. I like it all. You know, last year that video that you saw where that guy laid it over, that was on the tail end of our trip. So we had, I think, 12 to 14 guys that made a 6,000-mile trip last year, and my dad and my youngest daughter rode with me, and we were just one of 2 Jeeps that drove the whole trip. Everybody else towed theirs, and to be able to drive it and wheel it, and drive it home. I mean, that's part of the.
Yep.
The older I get, the more I like driving. Don't matter if it's interstate or not. I just like driving. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So that's what the whole. I'm used to. I'm from Indiana, but I really started wheeling when I moved out here. So we would go to South Dakota. And that you can just crawl mostly unless it gets a little slick. So I went to Windrock, and I'm with William, who doesn't know anything but the pedal to the floorboard. He's like, you just got to hit it. And that's not what I like to do, but I'm getting there. I just have to get over that hump of it needs to go into 3rd gear instead of 1st because I'm geared so low. 2nd's like useless. So I just go straight to 3rd.
Right. Yep. Yeah, crawl ratio around here doesn't help a lot unless it's been a drought for like 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's your favorite TNT part then?
Well, I think what my favorite part is probably you guys have the market cornered on those stretch 2-door JK corners. I mean, you know, the Spartan JK guy over here in North Carolina, I guess he's an ambassador, the blue one.
Yep.
I can't think of his name right now, but
no. So it's I call it Smurf blue, and he might get mad at that, but it's Smurf blue in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't even know his name exactly. I believe he's a train master, but that Chris takes care of a bunch of that stuff, and so I don't always know all the train masters. I'm trying to get better at it, and we're gonna kind of do a meetup down there. But
at Smoky Mountain.
At Smoky Mountain.
A bunch of terrain masters will be at that.
Yeah, but I think you all have that figured out. We've got one of the guys that works with me. He's not here today. He's a fireman full time, but he works here 2 days a week or whenever he can. And he's got got a two-door on 40. Got your corners built his own rock sliders. So he's got the ones that don't have the cutout with the integrated rocker armor.
Yep.
But that little thing, that wheelbase is just about key for a lot of these obstacles. And you'll get guys with four-door JKs that get hung up, and that two-door stretched wheelbase, that around the 106 to 108, right in there, man.
A lot of people are doing them. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people.
I'd say it's probably my favorite TNT product is those stretched corners.
Well, hopefully we're kind of expanding that a little bit, and we've made them before, but they've never been like official. So we made JK version or four-door version of a full corner armor with an oversized opening, so you can remove your flares and everything, similar to what you have on your Jeep.
Okay.
We have that now as well. We'll get pictures up on the website, but definitely, yeah. I mean, a lot of people love our corners, and we're trying to get them out as fast as possible.
Right. I was going to show you something else that this is just totally coincidental, but this Jeep we did a while back. But check this out.
Oh, it's got the Phantoms.
Got the Phantom. Yep. And that was one of my favorites because you guys.
The Highline Phantoms.
You're one of the that ever had a fan or a full Highline that had an inner fender. Everybody else, you have to make something. You know?
Yep.
And I like the fact that you got that. Here's the outside of the shop. I didn't show you that part, but we've got a few lined up here that are getting some stuff done. So these two right here were just dropped off today. They're getting some stuff, a metal cloak lift and a bumper from VKS Fab. But here's that much talked about wall. And
yeah.
Let me get you a shot of the front because people think they have to have a four-wheel drive to get up here because it's pretty steep. But this wall is massive, and you can see our building just barely right there.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Did you have to do a lot of fill?
Well,
build the wall filling?
That was already done. So I think I paid less for this building in foreclosure than the people had just in their excavation. So
probably.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably. Oh, well, that's a good deal. I need to find a deal like that.
Well,
we need a bigger building, too.
I think we've gone over all the questions. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask us?
No, I just want to go with Bob on one of his adventures that he takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Bob logged on. He's over at the other shop right now. Yeah, we got one coming up. We're going to do Upper Michigan next.
Yep, that one.
And that's not going to be a hard one.
That's
going to be.
You would probably like a fall adventure or a spring adventure. And the reason is you get to places that hardly anyone has ever seen before. And it's not always rock crawling and stuff like that, but it's just the views are spectacular.
Yeah.
All about the views and the camping, and we've got
and the food.
And food.
Yeah. We this last event that we went to back in May with all our buddies, there were more Blackstone grills and food being cooked that I've ever seen in my life, and I just back and ate myself into an oblivion. Sat by the,
Yeah, this last trip I came home. We were only home one day, and Bob turned around and went out on another trip, but I stayed home. I didn't cook all week because I told him I had to lose 10 pounds from the week before of eating on our camping trip. Too much food. Food.
So
on that subject of eating and camping and all that stuff, there's an event coming up that maybe you guys can help share. A charity event. It happens every Labor Day weekend up here. And last year it was canceled, but they're doing it this year for the first time again. But it's been going on for probably 15, 20 years maybe. But it's called Chinky Pin Off-Road. So
okay.
It is a guy's, a couple of brothers. Their last name's Ferguson. They were the original guys you see on Pirate 4x4 back in the day on that forum.
Oh, so they're old?
Yeah. Jeff sees this and he's like, Jason, you said I was old in front of 1,000 people. got a farm, and they opened it up and for a guided rock crawling thing through like a course. But it's fun to watch. Last time we took our 4-door Jeep, so all the buggies have all these mall crawlers in there, and it's just fun. And I think if you've heard of that Flex Rocks Rollovers channel.
Yep, Marvin.
Yeah, we know Marvin.
So Marvin is actually promoting it this time as well and trying to help raise some awareness for that charity.
I think he did a video a couple years ago because it's not very big, but there's a lot of obstacles and a lot of big rock and stuff like that.
Yes, that was actually they called it a competition. It was Rain of Rocks is the name of that video.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and that was only maybe 6-8 months ago. Yeah.
Well, all Tanner does at night is watch YouTube videos of off-roading stuff. I can attest to walking in and seeing it. That's all he watches.
You got to know your competition. You got to know where you're going to go wheeling, and
you got to be.
Yep.
Glad you do.
Yep. I'm entertained. I watch Jason's YouTube video. I'm entertained.
Yeah, Mary, he's working.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's what it is. At least it's at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't busted him doing that here at work.
So, well, I don't even know how long has this video been.
Well, we're at 2:32.
Yeah.
Time. So
is there anything else you want to say, Jason, before we sign off?
No, just check out our YouTube channel. It's
we forgot the main big question. Why do you wheel?
Why do you go?
You love it. Okay.
I love it.
Yep.
God, family 4-wheeling.
Yeah, there we go.
You eat, live, and breathe it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, good.
Awesome. Well, it was good talking to you. I'll probably stop by the shop on my way down at some point, depending on when I leave and get there and driving and all that. And
back or forth.
Yep. And we can go from there.
You're bringing me a banner, right?
Yeah, I'll bring you a banner. Yep. That's absolutely. Good. You want a yard sign too? I have a bunch of those.
They probably gave me a banner about 10 to 12 years ago, and it's probably in my garage at my house, but it's a real small, so they need to give me size now.
Okay.
Yeah. So can we like cover that whole wall? Because I mean we can print one of those.
Jeez, Tanner. Okay.
So all right. Well, we'll talk to you later then, Jason.
All right, sounds good, guys. Y'all be care.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.